Welcome back to Don't Know Why. I'm going to continue with my series of Irish national populism strategy and logistics videos. I'm Conor Rafferty, populist, Irish populist, and educator. So, picking up from where we were yesterday, I'm going to quickly resume yesterday's video, which, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find a link to it in the top right hand corner right about now. I'm just going to quickly summarize that. I stated we need to be aware of some important dates coming up, which are the next Irish general election held by March 2025. Also, not so much the European election, but because it's an indicator for when the local elections are held on the same day as the European elections every 5 years. Last one was 2019, so that makes 2024. So, recapping, burn these dates in your mind. Dáil election for the 35th Dáil by March 2025, less than 2 years away. And the local elections, less than about a year away, just over a year away. Burn those dates into your mind. Make sure any populist or nationalist you're talking to is aware of those. Okay, so we talked yesterday about constituencies. One thing that I didn't focus on yesterday was which of these are three-seaters. The ones in red are three-seaters. The ones in purple are four-seaters, and the ones in yellow or gold are five-seaters. So find your constituency and find out if it's the three, four, or a five. Okay, just before we come on to that, I'll skip to... as I mentioned yesterday, I'll just quickly summarize that. I went through the data for the last election results. There's Galway West and Galway West, for example, Donegal, Cavan Monaghan. Let's take a look at Mayo, for example. Got this data off Wikipedia, and I was interested in in each constituency, what is the minimum vote required to get somebody elected, to get a TD elected. For example, in Mayo, this guy, Alan Dillon, got in with 8.1 out of the people elected, which are in bold. He was the one with the lowest percentage of the vote. Now, you'd think if there's four people, that's a four-seater. If there's four people being elected, you might think off the top of your head, well, that might be 25% each because like 425s is 100%. But no, you can actually get in with like 8.1% was all it took last time. So what I've done is I've gathered all that information for each of the 39 constituencies and took the lowest successful TD, what his percentage vote was, and put it into this table. Like that. And then find your constituency there, and then I found the average of the percentage, and it's 10.3. Yesterday I hadn't included the Dublin data, if you remember, and I said it wouldn't be wildly different. Actually, the Dublin data made our job appear even easier because yesterday I was talking about 11%, but I have to correct that. Today it's closer to 10% with just over 5,000 raw votes required in the average constituency to get a TD elected. So back to, yes, so there, I think I've managed to get everything onto this one. There's a figure of 10.3 down there. So what does that mean, really? What that means is that in the average Dáil constituency, a TD can potentially be elected with only 10% of the vote. That's good news because that is very achievable. That means a populist candidate needs only 1 in 10 of the people who vote to vote for him or her. And bear in mind, in the last general election, the turnout was just over 60%. So 4 out of 10 people didn't even vote. So if you can manage to persuade one of the 4 out of 10 people who didn't vote, you don't even need to vote for you as a populist candidate or your local populist candidate who you're going to support, which I urge you to take this job on, because otherwise the pixies ain't going to do it. If there's no cavalry coming to save us. If we don't do this ourselves, Irish populists, there's no white knight waiting. We have to be active, basically. Okay, so have a look at those figures. 10% of the vote, or 1 in 10 to vote for him or her populist candidate, and let that sink in. Right. Now I'm gonna bring in a video I did about a week or 10 days ago. This one You can find it on my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a link up above right now. You can also find it on Substack. I'm copying all my latest videos over to Substack as well. Okay, so this is it. So I'm going to assume you've seen the previous video, the video that I just mentioned. So we were talking about the update. This is like segmenting the Irish electorate into voting segments. We are the innovators down here in the bottom left-hand corner, 2.5%. The next people who would typically come on board to a new idea or a new political idea are going to be the early adopters, and that's about typically 13.5% from product marketing research. This work has been done. The sorts of people who vote for independence, who certainly would have a suspicion of the establishment parties. Next, you have the early majority, people who are not particularly politically aware, but open-minded enough, and they could potentially come on board whenever they see. Tend to be people who follow the crowd a little bit. They wait to see there's like a small, there's a bit of momentum there that the innovators and the early adopters have come on board before they'll come on board. And you've got the late majority, and then finally you've got the laggards. Now, the interesting thing is that this 10%, we've just established previous slides that a populist candidate just will need on average 10% of the vote to get elected. The great news is, if you look at those first two columns there, between the innovators and the early adopters, there's 16%. So you don't even need to waste time with the early majority, the late majority, or the laggards. It's just a question of finding these early adopters in each constituency. So this product curve, this adoption curve, holds for the whole of the country, and it will hold to a greater or less extent for every constituency as well. So in every constituency, there's going to be a couple of percent. The innovators who already are dyed in the wool, that's the audience of this video. If you're watching this video, you're in this group. Yeah, you're most likely in this group. The next part of the pie that we need to attract aren't in this group. If they were, that would be easy, because I would just make videos like this, and these parties would make videos and these people would be watching them, but they're not aware of these parties, but they're easily won over, and we just have to find them. So 1 in 10 of the people, basically, or 1 or 2 in 10 of the people, over to a billionaire to talk about one very important life lesson that will help us reach these people. So over to him.
Frog cufflinks.
And is your tie got frogs?
And frogs tie.
Okay.
Because I learned, and I've got frogs everywhere, and I mean even my thank you notes, napkins have frogs, because I learned coasters, the carpet underneath that table, because I learned that life is a numbers game. You got to turn over a lot of rocks to find something worth a damn, and you got to kiss a lot of frogs, hoping that one's going to become a prince.
Life is a numbers game. How do we find these people? We just go through the numbers. We knock on doors, talk to people, do it systematically. If we identify a laggard, we run. We just back up out of that garden gate onto the next door, right? Don't even waste time talking to them. Don't kiss those ugly, ugly frogs. Late majority, just drop a leaflet and get away as quickly as you can. Early majority, maybe have a 1 or 2 minute chat. Now, if you find somebody that's in here, this is where you spend your time talking to them. These are the sorts of people. But we've got to get through tens of thousands of houses in each electorate to find these early adopters. We've got to kiss all these frogs, quickly leave them. Open the door, see if it's a frog. Open the door, see if it's a see if it's a slightly better looking frog. Open the door, see if it's like maybe a better looking prospect than these frogs here. And we got to get through 9 of these doors to find one of these. So it's all about getting through the 9 doors to get to the 1 door. So you got to knocking 9 frog doors to get to 1 early adopter, beautiful prince doors.
I'm the guy that points it out in a fairly irreverent manner. If fucking love got the job done, why is the world so fucked up? To find something worth a damn, and you got to kiss a lot of frogs, hoping that one's going to become a prince.